you in college and high school and middle school are probably gearing up for finals right now, as am I, which means all I can think about is the work I'm doing for my finals, which is probably a good thing, to be honest. Fortunately, one of the things I'm writing about for a final paper is totally related to the HPA and fandom stuff. I'm writing a paper for a cinema studies class about how digital media has changed filmmaking and the effect of digital media on society. So basically it's about why YouTube is awesome. I'm using one of our readings from class that's a chapter from Henry Jenkins' Convergence Culture. If you don't know who Henry Jenkins is, he's this super awesome professor, scholar who has coined most of the words and developed a lot of the ideas that we throw around here at the HPA, like fan activism and participatory media, and he writes academically about things like fandoms. Like, I was first introduced to his work when I was doing research on a paper I wrote about Harry Potter / fanfiction. Yes, I wrote an academic paper about that, and yes, I am scarred forever by some of the things that I found. Now, my planning for this paper is in the very primordial phases. I haven't completely fleshed out my thoughts or direction, but I thought you guys might be interested in some of the things I've been reading in this chapter by Jenkins. So in going with Kelly's Wednesday video about the world of 100, as well as a joke that Kelly and I made a couple months ago in which Kelly inadvertently referred to fandoms as being like ethnicities that you would check off on tax forms, I'm playing with the idea of the internet being a new form of global folk culture, in which culture, rather than being divided by national heritage, is now represented by fandoms or other online communities, and the motherland where these cultures converge is mass commercial media. Jenkins paints this simplified history of American media where the 19th century was rife with folk culture. Artistic expression was pulled from all the different populations from different nations that came together in the United States in that time period. But as the 20th century came around, professional commercial entertainment was flourishing, and at first it was taken from folk culture, using its aesthetics, its traditions, maybe even some of its people for this mainstream entertainment, and folk culture was similarly taken from it. But eventually mainstream entertainment got more and more serious. The cost was higher, which meant that the quality had to be better so that the audience reach would be greater, all of which meant that commercial media won out, folk culture was pushed underground, and we got the mass consumer type of popular culture that we're familiar with today. But that all sounds a little familiar, doesn't it? The internet and all the communities that we've created here work in a way that's very similar to folk culture and follow a similar trajectory to the history of American folk culture. I think the internet is causing a renaissance of folk culture in reaction to the domination of the past several decades of mainstream mass media. And I use the word mainstream on purpose because I think there's a reason why this annoying hipster designation has stuck around for so many years so far. I think the public yearns for the type of individuation and equal opportunity focused on community rather than profit that folk culture provides, both in the past and transformed now into the vlogs and blogs and web series and fan art and fanfiction and live streams and communities that we create together online. And I think we're only going to see more of this reordering of culture as time goes on. But in saying all this, I can't help but be reminded of the world of 100 that Kelly talked about on Wednesday that says that just by having computers, we are in the 7%, which doesn't sound much better than the 1%. 93% of the world's population does not have computers. So in thinking about everything that I just said, it's important to remember to be grateful that we even have the internet to be able to think about and experience these things. Let me know what you guys think about everything that I said in the comments. I promise after I graduate and get out of this headspace, I will have less dense vlogs. If you want some less serious vlogs about things like breakfast cereal, I'm vlogging every day in April on my personal channel. Julian is also doing Veda on his personal channel, so you should check them both out. And Julian, I'll see you on Monday.